today is Robin Birchall, the CEO of Oscillate PLC. Robin, good to be speaking to you again. How are you?
Yeah, Mark, very good, thank you. Been a few busy weeks here, and we're getting underway in Ivory Coast, which is very exciting.
Well, last time, of course, you introduced that project. It's the Duékoué Project. You just announced that you were getting involved in it, of course, in Côte d'Ivoire. An announcement coming out recently that you've kicked off the phase 1 exploration. And the idea, I think, is to confirm the historic data and to start looking at potential IOCG and porphyries. So, I mean, what are you going to be doing? What work is actually going to be happening on the ground?
Yeah, well, so Mark, it's quite simple, actually, what's happening in the beginning. We've selected about 5 or 6 lines of mag that we're going to shoot, and those are to help us relocate the original geophysical lines that were shot about 30 or 40 years ago, because the original geolocation tags were not necessarily, well, we don't know how accurate they were because it's pre-GPS and we don't know where they are exactly. So by shooting these, if they line up nicely with the original anomalies, it means that we can then utilize the old data that we have to move into a further phase. At the same time, we will also be doing soil sampling along those. I think we're going to do it every 20 meters.
Okay.
And we'll alternate sampling those. We're going to sample, initially we're going to have a cut for just copper and moly, because that was what was originally done. And then if we see a little bit of gold, we will then do the alternate samples for a little bit of gold as well, just in case that shows a little bit better. We're not sure in the past whether or not they didn't sample for gold, or if it was below the limit of testing in the past. Okay. Obviously those kinds of things have improved over the intervening period.
So when you're doing, you say soil sampling, is this when you're doing the trenching?
No. Trenching will come later. They will just do grab samples as we go along the line.
Okay, so it's mag lines, 6 mag lines to begin with. You mentioned to see if that historic data matches up. So let's say it does. What happens next?
Yeah, if we do that, then we'll go back and we'll have a more extensive program. We will do more ground geophysics. So we may shoot some more. Mag lines are quite cheap, so we may shoot some more mag lines for a bit of infill. But I think most likely we'll go back and do some IP. It's a little bit more expensive, but it gives us a better view of what is in the subsurface. Okay. So that would be, and then we would do pitting and trenching as well along that. We want, I don't know if that, it may give us, I asked the geo, I said, will it give us lithology? And he said, well, I don't know, is the answer. It might do, it might not. It depends what we encounter. But if we can get some lithology, that'll be quite helpful as well. And it'll identify some of the other geological conditions along those lines. And that ultimately will allow us to design a drill program.
Okay. So mag lines, as I remember correctly, I think that's a guy or a girl. It could be a person with a backpack walking effectively. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, with a magnetometer.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay.
Well, we actually, the line. So we've got a circular anomaly like this, and it's around the edges that it's quite interesting. Okay. And then we're putting lines sort of like this around it, so that we can locate this intrusive feature. And by doing it all the way around, that will allow us properly to locate, or to move the underlying map to the correct grid coordinates.
Okay.
Right?
And what happens if the data doesn't match? I mean, does that really throw some spanners in the works? Or how can you...
Well, yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't know what happens. We'll probably have to go back and do more mag if it doesn't line up. But we've extended the lines. We can see the physical features from the old maps, like roads and streams and rivers and things like that, and bridges and stuff. So we're trying to line them up as best as we can.
Okay.
It's really about, do we get the high level, 1,000 ppm, 2,000 ppm kind of, or above 500 ppm hits or not? If we don't, then we'll have to just go back and shoot more geophysics until we find those old lines. Like it was done by the French. We're pretty sure they're right. It was good quality work. It's just about locating them properly.
Excellent. Okay, so it's good early stage getting on the ground that will later inform a drilling program. Just finally, Robin, you said in the latest announcement that there is potentially significant economic potential here in this project. So just remind us, if you can, it's a new project, what it's all about and why it's so prospective.
Well, look, the Ivory Coast has been somewhat underexplored for copper and gold along this trend between the two geological ages, right? We've seen some success in the north with a gold company, Canadian listed gold company, which has also identified some very significant copper. They're more than anomalies because they've actually drilled into it. We liked the regional model, geological model that they've built up, and we think that we're in a further southern extension of that. And we're not looking for gold, but if there is gold there, we'll be very happy about it, because the original work showed copper and moly. And as you raised at the beginning, we don't know if this is Carajás style IOCG or whether or not it's a porphyritic intrusion. It could be either one of them because of where you sit on the basin belt margin and between the two geological ages. So we'll have to see where we get to. I somewhat suspect that it's going to be an IOCG, but the initial work that was done, the work that we've reviewed, it potentially also could be a porphyry. But either way, we'd be happy with significant discovery. So let's see where we get to.
Good. Well, thank you very much for your time, Robin. So I'm sure we can catch up just as that program sort of starts to get underway and we can get a sense of how it's going. But for now, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, excellent. Well, I just before you finish off, program's about 6 weeks, so it's starting now. We should have results relatively quickly out. I can't remember the exact timeline, but if we're in May now, June, maybe in July. It depends on the assay wait list. So we'll keep you guys. We'll keep the market updated.
Excellent.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.